Welcome back, preseason diaries session 28. She was an early one today, let me tell you. The training started at 8:05. You can see the little timer up there. I had to get up at 7. I was running on 4 hours sleep. It was crazy early, and it was crazy cold. It felt like it was in the middle of winter. And I was in a hoodie. I was freezing. Could not imagine being in shorts and a singlet. But it was a 3 hour or so session. It was tipped to be, well, the rumor was that it was going to be an intra-club match because there was about 8 or 9 VFL players that came through. There was lots of full match sim right at the end. There was 3 25 minutes. I was going to say quarters, but 25-minute thirds, I guess, because there was only 3 of them. So that was great, but it wasn't a full intra-club match like we saw that the Kangaroos just had today, or no, I think it was today. As you can see from the start there were a bunch of players in the rehab group. It was kind of a weird. That's going to be sort of weird. You can see here that Dimitia and Smith, they were properly in the rehab group. We know that Dimitia is going through that concussion. Smith, we don't really know what happened, but he went off the ground. I think earlier this week or last week, and Finn as well. What it was great to see was you can see him there, Jordan De Goey. Looks like he's getting back to full power, and Tom Mitchell. Now, there's still no timeline on Tom Mitchell's return, which is sad, but you can see him in footy boots. He's moving around. He didn't take part in any of the match sim. You can sort of see him there, like bending, picking, kicking up. It's just really, really good signs for Titch, and we love that. But we know to play, he has to get back into full match sim, full contact and all that sort of stuff. With Jordan De Goey, he played. It was either one or half of the match sims and he did a fantastic job. So with Jordan De Goey, I'm pretty confident that we will see him during the match practice matches next week against Brisbane and Gold Coast, even if it's for like a quarter or something. I'm pretty confident that we sort of see that because he looked phenomenal. Still getting over his bone bruising. You can see that little celebration there after that goal. Still getting through his bone bruising, but he looked good. Now, don't get me wrong, match simulation is just really good to see where the players are at. But I preferred the match simulation a couple of, it might have been last week, where it was a proper black team, proper white team, team A and team B. With this one, it was changed up a lot, and it's hard to really sort of tell with those 9 VFL players in there. Because towards the end, you see Reef was up against Mychek and McStay and those sort of types. So it's good to see him against those guys, but we didn't really get a definitive A side like we did last week. So they went through just their sort of normal kicking drills, conditioning drills, and it was beautiful. At this time, the sun was out, the birds were chirping, everyone was happy. It was a beautiful start to the training session, and then it just absolutely pissed down. Like, it would just not stop raining. So this is going to be a pretty long video. Towards the end when match simulation is on, I'm just going to give you the sounds of match simulation and maybe I'll pop in for a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is, while all this training is happening, just tell you who sort of impressed me and my thoughts on the overall match sim. Now, I try to focus on, not really camera work, but just focus on a little bit of different players. I thought TJ was phenomenal. He's really been catching my eye these last couple of weeks, but I thought today just showed his speed, so showed his quickness around the ball. But again, it's that half-back position. There are a dime a dozen in the team at the moment, especially with bringing Dan Houston in, especially with Josh Dacos got moving to the half-back line. So TJ would have to do something absolutely special to crack it into the team. I really hope he does. We only saw him that one time last season. So I really do hope that he cracks into the team. Another guy that I really liked today was Will Parker. He's really growing into his AFL body. Obviously, we know Will Parker's story. Cricket, Category B rookie. Played, 9 or so games, maybe 7 to 9 games last season. So he's really going into his body. And again, he is that half back roll. But I don't know, he is very, I hate to say it, but very silky, right? Very silky, a smooth operator, if you will. So no pun intended. So I really liked what he was about. So you can see here that the rains just started a coming. What was that commercial? Marge, the rains are here. It was just pouring. Now, you can see that we haven't really trained in the rain. I don't think these last 28 sessions, because it was sloppy as hell. Now, you know that I try and be as unbiased as I can on these sort of things, especially with training and stuff. But there were some bits of this match scene that were just absolutely terrible. You can see TJ here doing his thing. There was, and look, it was because of the rain that it was terrible. But look, I don't want to say inexcusable, because it's it's just started raining and we're not used to that sort of wet ball. We need to get better at it. But you can see the good players are good in any condition, and some of those, mid-tier players just need to get a little bit sort of clean up. You can see Will Parker here, doesn't get it clean. But look, again, you can sort of forgive them because of the rain, but it was in parts very, very sloppy. A couple of other guys that I really liked today, Charlie West, he took some really good marks in the wet. So that's a big confidence booster. I had another guy come up and talk to me about Westy. And again, this guy, we hadn't talked about West before. Even he said that he looks like a young Jonathan Brown in that body. Now, we would take that. Famously, we tried to go after Brownie, and he famously nearly came to Collingwood. And look at that speed and that push from Jordan to go in. Incredible. So, yeah, we tried to go for Brownie, and now we've got a reincarnate, if you will. So that's going to be great to see, but he looks so powerful, so strong. I can't wait to see him in the VFL. And again, this is that sort of sloppiness, but it was a bit of chaos football. So I actually, even though I said it was sloppy, I don't mind it because it does practice that chaos football that we know and we love from Collingwood. Good mark. There's that. Charlie West. Now the ruck situation. So Darcy Cameron wasn't there. I think I read somewhere that he was at a wedding or something. So Cameron wasn't there. So what was happening was Oscar Stan was taking most of the ruck. Mason Cox, Dan McStay as well, because obviously Smith was in rehab. So McStay, we've talked about McStay being the ruck for weeks and weeks, maybe even a couple of months. So he's there competing again. I anticipate it's more of a forward sort of thing like Tom Hawkins, but we needed a main ruckman. Someone who really impressed me again today, Mason Cox. Now, I love Coxie. You know that. I love Cox, right? But Mason, I think memory's gone over him, and he put in the work today. He was clunking them, doing some nice little ruck work. But you saw that mark there. He really impressed me. He really stuck out. For these last few weeks, Mason hasn't stuck out. But today, stuck out like a sore thumb in a very good way, and so did Oscar Steen. Oscar Steen is coming along really well. You remember that time where I was saying Ilaro Smith ahead of Oscar Steen, but I thought Oscar Steen is starting to hold his own. Could turn into a really good forward ruck, kind of like Mason, who just took that clunk right now. Look, there's no real point in saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Nick Dacos, another incredible session. Just leading from the front, lots of 1-2s, gathered about 40 possessions. He was just absolutely everywhere. Clean in the wet, and then when it sort of dried up like you're seeing here, just proved that he's just a class above the competition, not even, anyone else, just a class above the competition, and it's always nice just to see him go about it. Reef really held his own, like we talked about him a little bit earlier, against McStay, Majek, and whoever else he was going up against. Again, I've been saying this for months. He is going to be in the back line come round 0, round 1, whatever you want to bloody call it. The one thing that does concern me a little bit with that sort of back line, and I don't think I caught any of it on camera, was there were a lot of turnovers, especially going across goal when we're trying to switch. There were a lot of turnovers today, and sometimes even coming out. Darcy Moore, there was a couple of times where he turned it over, kicking out, not from full back, but just kicking out into the sort of corridor. And yeah, just a couple of those switches. So something that we've got to get a little bit cleaner around. But again, when you're sort of playing with VFL players and you're not really, I know they've been training with the seniors and stuff, and that's great. But if you're not really used to them and their positioning and stuff like that, it can stuff you up a little bit. So I'm not looking into that too much. But on the VFL players, I was really, really proud of how they went about it. Now, if you want to learn all about the VFL players, Jen's training buzz. She goes to all the VFL training sessions, which is incredible. But they looked really good. They were really holding their own. There were a couple, look, I don't know any of their names, but there were a couple that were even outshining some of the seniors. So what that gives me is good, like a good feeling about our VFL side. We know we've been crap these last couple of, I was going to say weeks, these last couple of years. So it gives me, yeah, a good feeling about our VFL side this season, because we want that VFL side playing finals, especially if we're batting deep into finals. You want your second guys, the guys that are trying to push for that top spot, you know, they've got a platform to play on and perform. All right, I've said everything that I sort of want to say. I'm going to let you watch the rest of Match Simulation with Around the Ground sound. Enjoy. I'll talk to you right at the end of this video.
Friends along, but yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I want Curtis to service us. I want you to service us. If I ring them, if I ring the restaurant and say, I want Curtis to be the attendant. Yeah. And I say, oh, Curtis asked me to. Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. So this will be Collingwood's last training session in Melbourne before they head off to the Gold Coast for their practice game against Brisbane and Gold Coast. Oh, they're going to be there all week. I'm going to go up there. There's going to be vlogs. There's going to be swooping around. A bunch of other videos. It's exciting. Footy is right around the corner. We're less than 4 weeks away from our opening round against the Giants. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.
Where we go? Why or what?